Zoom.
Hey, what's going on, Full Blast? It's me, Gator.
I like your voices, man. You do good work.
Yeah, I like I like all the streams that you do that don't have Ethan Ralph on them. They're worth watching.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wasn't really surprised when I saw that when you stopped streaming him, he spurred out on you, and he called you a faggot 6 times because that's kind of how he rolls. Yeah, well, you know what? If you don't want to restream me, you're just a fucking faggot. Get out of my goddamn server.
Yep.
That's exactly how he is. And that's why I fucking hate that guy. I've never liked him. I've always pretended to be his friend just to make fun of him because he's just fake. Like he'll literally call you in the middle of the night, like crying. Like, oh, Nora and everybody's making fun of me calling the gun. This is not funny. I'm a gun out of my shirt. They don't realize what I'm doing. I was just like, dude, I don't care. I'm tired. Go away. And I would just hang up on him. Like, he's fucking sad and pathetic.
So he'd bother you? He would bother you?
Yeah, he would call me and Andy all the time in the middle of the night crying. And then, like, the other day, Nick Urquito is like, yeah, he does the same thing with me. Dude, I feel bad for him. He does this to everyone. He's just lonely and pathetic. I literally hope that if I continue to fuck with him, he'll stop drinking and get his shit together, but I doubt he'll ever do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I would like to see that.
It'll never happen. I mean, he's so far into alcoholism that there's nothing redeeming about him. Like, that's half the reason why I started fucking with him, because he was just like the guy built his entire platform off of being somebody that calls people out on their shit, and being transparent, being very free speech oriented, and I watched him in private calls with Stream Me, like, threaten the Stream Me admins, like, if they don't take somebody offline, or if they don't stop somebody from restreaming. He did that to Dispatch. He did it to the Gun streamer. Then he tried to blame it on me, so I just released all the fucking chat logs because he was lying. He would get in all the time, I'm a big attraction to your website, and if you don't get rid of these fucking people, I'm just gonna leave. I'll go to BitChute. I don't give a fuck. I'll go on someone else's channel. And that's what he used to like scream at, like, Jordan, the intern, one of the admins on Streamy. He would scream at him all the time because we had this group chat, and it was like me, Andy, pretty much anybody that was in like the top 3 on Streamy regularly, and it was just to like give people that they wanted to, because they were thinking about doing a partnership program. Anybody that had a high amount of viewers or a high amount of points every week when the things were put together, they would bring them in and give them, like, specialized support. If an issue with your chat room or a bug or something, they would come in and you could just message them in the Discord chat. And literally the entire Discord chat was just Ralph bitching, claiming that he was going to get Jim to leave the show, claiming that Andy was going to refuse to stream on Stream Me unless he gave his approval. But Ralph lied about shit all the time because Jim didn't give a flying fuck what Ralph said, and neither did Andy, and neither did I. And then he was like, oh, well, I'm going to just keep doing this and I'm going to be number one. And I was like, well, you're kind of like phoning in your show. You're like lying to your fans. Like he was actively giving us information on his fans. Like, we had a whole nother server that was called like anti-SBCC. It's still there to this day. I think right now it's called Autism Awareness, and it's got a Sprite logo. And Ralph was in there, and so was Gator. And we would go in there and we would collect information on PayPigs, and he would give us information on PayPigs. And he wanted it set up basically so, like, the main chat, like the one that he has in SBCC, he got annoyed that, like, he couldn't go in there and interact with his fans regularly. So he would let us fuck with the more autistic and annoying fans that would pester him when he joined the VC, so that they would kind of stay in check and not fucking bother him. And Gator was totally okay with it too. And they were completely fine with us fucking with his fans as long as it didn't get to the limit where they would stop paying. And then when they would get mad, he would say, fuck them, I don't care as long as they pay. That's why I don't like Ralph, and that's why I stopped being cool with Ralph, because he would actively try to censor people and fuck with people and get people deplatformed, and not for a funny reason, but for a reason only that it involved his feelings being hurt. And he talks about like how brave he is, and Gator too. Oh, they're such brave IBS champions, and they're bringing back. They're the biggest fucking pussies I've ever met in my entire life. Neither of them would get in a VC. They wouldn't even last in a VC with me more than 2 minutes. The last time I was on Ralph's show, not only did I do it the first night, I came back the second night. I bullied him to absolute silence on his show. I did it 2 nights in a row, and then when Gator tried to defend him, I told him to shut his stupid fucking mouth because he's nothing more than a 450-pound speaking spell, and he has not used the soundboard since that night. I bullied him so hard that I took the one thing that made him unique, that one shtick that he could say, oh, that's my thing, I took that away from him. That's how much of a pussy he is. That's how badly I cucked Ethan, Ralph, and the Killstream crew, is that they can't even do their own thing. They gotta copy other people.
And there you go. Yeah. It's pretty funny. I haven't heard that soundboard in a while.
Yeah, he stopped using it because I made fun of him, because that's literally all he has. There's nothing enjoyable about Gator. There's nothing special about Gator. There's nothing Gator can add to a conversation. Same thing with Ralph. Ralph is literally, if Ralph was a Pokemon, he would be a Ditto. He has no special stats, he has no real moves, and he has no real political stance. You know, for when he was with Milo, he was a super outspoken political activist. Then he was hanging out with the alt-right people. Then he was kissing up to Tonka. He was kissing up to Baked Alaska. Now, and then the year before it was, fuck you, Nick the Knife. I'm more popular than you. I have 6,000 viewers. Let's see where we are in a year. And then a year later, Nick's one of the most popular people on YouTube, and Ralph's banned off of YouTube, and he's got maybe sub 800 views. And he's pandering to like Destiny, begging Destiny for views too. I mean, it's fucking pathetic. The guy is just he's somebody that got popular, and the only reason he even got popular was because of me. The very first stream he ever had that really took off was me and Jim going in on Baked Alaska. Before that, he had less than 300 viewers every night, and then that's how he met Tonka. That's how he got involved with IBS. He blew up overnight because of that. Then he had the stream where he tried to crucify me with his 6 little friends, that they had no problem using me to get popular. They had no problem using me to get Weave to come on the show. Yeah. And then he retracted and he apologized, did a whole stream where the people that literally gave him the clips came back on the show and told him they were fucking with him. But he deleted that stream. It's mysteriously not on the Zencast anymore either. And he deleted all that shit so that he could hide the fact that he was a complete fucking idiot and he got trolled, because it's easier to lie about what really happened than to tell the truth. That way he can maintain that he's the moral arbiter of everything. Gator does the same thing. I mean, Gator literally sat in our chat while we doxed their fans and said nothing about it, laughed about it. And then same thing with Ralph, said absolutely nothing, had no problem with us fucking with his fans. But then when I started fucking with Ralph during Stream E, he got mad because as I was fucking with him, his views were going down and mine were going up. And before Stream E closed, the 3 weeks in a row, I was number 1 and he wasn't. And he didn't like that.
Yeah, I got under his skin, right?
Yeah, he threatened to leave the show. He threatened to leave the site entirely. He was completely pissed. He was saying that I was like botting views and shit. And it was like, no, like it's not that hard to make a show. Even tonight, I had just as many views as him, and I was literally just making fun of his admins. Like, that's how boring Ralph is. He talks about nothing. He adds literally nothing. You can bring somebody on the show and they could, you could bring like the fucking Tiger guy from the fucking Netflix series, and he could be talking about how great it is to stroke the balls of tigers. And all of a sudden Ralph would talk about some fucking story about, back when he was a little kid, he saw tigers in the zoo and he was amazed by their balls. Because that's just how Ralph is. He has no opinion. He parrots whoever comes on the show. And then Gator is even more fucking milquetoast. He'll just parrot whatever he sees Ralph. He'll be like, yeah, man, those tiger balls, man. I wonder what it's like to like squeeze them in my hand. The only balls I usually have in my hand, because I'm Gator. I usually cup Ralph's balls. Every once in a while, I'll give Jim's a little squeeze. That's exactly how they are. They have nothing to add to any kind of conversation. It almost
seems like they're a little scared to step out of line and say the wrong thing, right? Well, maybe that itself, any interesting commentary they might have can't be shared because you can't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and it's also like for me it's hilarious because like Ralph and Andy had no problem. Like they would literally, I would get messages from Andy like at like 3 in the morning, dude. He would like text me and he'd be like, "Hey," and I'd be like, "What's going on?" And he'd be like, "So what you thinking about?" Be like, "The fuck? Like who does that? Who messages another guy in the middle of the night asking them what they're feeling, what they're thinking about?" And like Andy was like this like deeply emotional guy. Like I wasn't expecting him to be as emotional as he was. And I was just like, I said to them when I came back, I was like, I'm not going to forget what you guys did. You guys put me on the chopping block. You were rude to me. You were rude to my girlfriend. We told you what the fuck happened. You guys weren't even around for it. You're all a bunch of idiots. And then you tried to use me to get popular. And then you did get popular. And you thought I wouldn't come back and fuck with you. I'm going to come back and I'm going to fuck with every single one of you. And you're going to be so stupid that you're going to buy that I forgot. And I'm gonna wait. And I did. I waited like 6 months before I came back. And then I got my friends, because I have way more connections with bigger YouTubers and people that are popular than fucking Ralph or Andy ever will. And I got a bunch of YouTubers that were popular at the time to message Ralph, who were actually on the site with me when that shit happened. And they vouched that it was just a bullshit story and we were fucking around. Because at the time, like, people were fucking with me because we were like the most popular people on the site, because she was the most popular streamer on the site, and I was like, I used to hang out with Martin Shkreli, and I was really popular because Martin Shkreli used to have like a shit talking competition. It was like the roast arena or something, and I was the most popular person, and I always won that thing from shit talking people. So when me and her started shit talking each other on stream, and then eventually we met, we fell in love with each other, and we wound up moving in together, and we were streaming together and doing stupid shit in real life all the time. And those YouTubers were there, like Billy the Fridge. I've been friends with Billy for years. He's been friends with my girlfriend for years. Billy was like, "Nah, man, that was bullshit. I was physically there when it happened. That shit never happened. I've known those guys for years." A couple other people that I'm not going to mention told Ethan it was bullshit, and then Ethan heard the recordings of the people that came on his show making fun of him in another Discord about how he didn't verify anything, and they just made the whole thing up. And Ethan apologized to me. He did a whole stream where he apologized to me. But I told him, I was like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to fuck with all of you. So the minute he started letting me come on he started bringing me in to fuck with his own callers and fuck with his fans. And that's how I wound up meeting the guys that they call the Plate Gang, because I started hanging out in SBCC, and I started hanging out with them because I saw that they were fucking with his fans too. And he said nothing about it. He never once protected his fan base. He never cared if they got doxxed. He never cared if they got harassed. It was to the point that his old Spike Club server was completely empty. No one would ever go in the VC because we would always be in there bullying them. And he would only bring me in to fuck with callers that he felt were too overwhelming for him. Like when I fucked with Destiny, because I literally did to Destiny what he does to everyone, and it drove Destiny insane. And I came on, I bullied Brittany Venti. I bullied that white nationalist that was dating a black girl that was on heel turn. I mean, he would literally start blowing me up on Discord whenever his calls or his show was getting boring, and beg me to come on and fuck with his callers so that people would watch and laugh about it. And that was the only time that Ethan ever really messaged me, was when he wanted me to fuck with his callers. So like his whole frame and story that like, I was fucking with his fans and he banned all of us out of the server. He had to get rid of me because we were doxing people. He knew that we were doing that the whole time, and he didn't care. And he was literally trying to use me like a fucking cudgel. So was Andy, to fuck with people.
They would call you midstream and ask for your help.
Yeah, all the time. The time I would get called.
Do you want to talk about why Dick brought you up on the stream, on that racket stream? Because I called him. You called him. Why did he know immediately it was you and was so excited about it?
Oh, he knew it was me because he knows me. Like, I don't know why people do this shit on YouTube where they like act like they don't know me or they don't talk to me. I mean, like Nick Rakita did the same thing. He was like, "Oh, Zoom, who's that?" And it's like, come on, Nick, you had me on. I doxed Tonka on your show. You were there. You've been in private calls with me multiple times. I mean, everybody remembers when Nicholas Fiorio made an ass of himself, claiming that me and Nick Rakita and Keemstar were doxing other YouTubers, and that made him look like a retard, because then he played the whole recording. Where in the recording, we not only don't dox them or post it publicly, we were only verifying if it was a real law firm, because what happened is this other YouTuber got ass mad that an underage YouTuber was making fun of him in a compilation video. So he sent him a fake cease and desist letter and was threatening to shut the kid's channel down. And the kid got upset and went to Keemstar and was like, hey, can you help me? I'm not really popular on YouTube, but I don't really appreciate somebody trying to bully me. So Keemstar, who I know, messaged me and said, hey, could you join this group chat? So I joined this group chat. Nicholas Diorio's there, Nick Rakita's there, Keemstar's there, and a couple other bigger YouTubers were there. And this kid was there, and they're like, let's verify this. He shows us the letter. We look into it, and then Nick looks up if they're really lawyers. Nick actually used his ability to, as a lawyer, to access if they're really lawyers or not. He was looking up their licenses and shit. And then we looked up their licenses because like the bar for each state is publicly available. But then he actually reached out to a few of the lawyers as a lawyer to see if it was real or not. And the majority of it was bullshit. It was just like a paper mill for DMCA's that you pay for so that you don't actually have to go to a lawyer and shit. And we verified that. And Nick Diorio was there, and we never doxed anybody. In fact, Nick Diorio literally got in his mom's car and drove over to the fucking house where these people lived and took pictures of their house and conveniently left that out of the fucking story. So like these guys are all full of shit. It's like I said on my stream, they're all just grifters and they all lie. And they have no problem talking to me when it benefits them. And when it doesn't, they try to fucking badmouth me or make me look like an asshole. But the truth and the reality of it is they're all fake as fuck and they're all two-faced and they're all really assholes. And they can't deal with me because I'm a dick and dicks fuck assholes and they can't deal with that.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to hope you're a force for good at the end of the day.
I mean, I don't really align myself to any side. It's like I know there's a lot of people that think that I just like autistically attack people for no reason, or I just get close to people that turn on them. No, the only people I ever did that to were Andy and Ralph, and that's because they deserved it. Because Andy and Ralph literally used me to get popular, and then got mad when I came back and fucking got them back for it. Same thing with Tonka. Tonka, the big bad fucking blood sports god, the blood guy. Yeah, I've reduced that guy to absolute silence on his own show, and he won't even get on a stream with me ever since. And now he's so pathetic that he streams to 20 people and has fake fights every Friday at 8 p.m. on YouTube where he gets thrown around like a retard for $20 a night.
You traumatize him.
Like every one of these guys, they talk so much shit. Just look at what they were 2 years ago when they first met me. Andy had like over, 290,000 subscribers. He was streaming with JF. Even the fucking him and JF breakup. JF and him broke up because JF called him low IQ because JF said he believed me and my girlfriend and that our story was consistent. And Andy snapped on him and they broke up because of that.
Yeah, the low IQ interventions.
Yeah. So back before that, him and JF were getting tens of thousands of views, and they were one of the most popular people on YouTube. Same thing with Ralph. Ralph was 6, 7, 8,000 fucking views. Then he got too big for his britches. That's the problem with all of them. Is the minute that money and that a little bit of fame hits them, they get fucking delusional and they start thinking that they're better than they are, and then they want to turn on it. They want to turn on their fans. Fuck my fans. I'm not going to keep my Patreon goals. That's why I like when people were fucking with Ralph tonight, because he really hasn't kept his Patreon goals. I mean, he kept changing them every month and scamming his fans. And there's a lot of people that do that. I mean, look at all the people that pay for fucking dick. Oh, I want access to the private dick stream. Have you ever been on one of those private dick live streams? Somebody sent me the link to it. He had less than 120 people watching him. Well, he's got thousands of patrons. Nobody really watches him. And then what does he do to his fans last week? He's got fucking Sean banning anybody that's giving him shit in the chat.
Ban those guys.
Yeah, but he's a free speech advocate, right? He doesn't give a fuck because he's already got his money. And that's why I don't like any of these people. I'm just going to keep fucking with them. Because I gave them a break because I got busy with work. I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I've done enough damage to these people. I mean, Andy's fucking MIA. He'd been gone for like 5 months. Ralph was like less than 500 viewers. Nobody was fucking watching him. Gator, nobody ever watched him because he's boring. Zidane left and everyone was done. I mean, what the fuck was I going to do at that point? And I said, I've pretty much done enough damage. I'm going to take a break and just disappear, go deal with life. I joined a powerlifting gym. I started powerlifting. I lost a bunch of weight.
Nice.
I did a lot of work for the year, and I got promoted twice at my job. Now I'm moving to Asia to set up our APAC branch, and everything's been great this year. And then I start fucking getting spammed on Twitter and DMs on Discord when I'm just trying to play fucking Call of Duty Warzone on the weekends, and people were like, "Oh, you got to come back and talk about this. Look at all this shit Ralph is saying." And I'm like, "All right, well, clearly they didn't learn the first time, so I'm just gonna come back and fuck with them." I mean, they're all in it together. Like as
Yeah.
crazy as PPP sounds, because PPP is like autistic and he can't think straight. He's right. They are all in it together.
Yeah.
Dick, Nick Rekieta, Ralph, Andy, they're all in it. Josh too. They're all in a big group, and they all are sitting there trying to grift as much out of as many viewers as possible to make as much money as possible. And they will lie and do anything they can to hold on to that little bit of fame and limelight and that little bit of relevance. And as long as they can milk those callers for money as much as possible, they will go out of their way to lie and distort and make shit up and lie, and they will go. I say lie twice because they literally lie every waking moment of the day. Josh wakes up in the morning, lies about having a job, lies about making money, lies about not needing money. He's gonna put 2K into the fucking fund. He's gonna trump Godwinson. He's gonna try and manage everything. That was a fucking grift, and he got caught because then somebody this morning posted that he was on Discord begging for a job a few months ago because he couldn't find work in Poland. They're all full of shit. Ralph's super rich. He doesn't need any money, but why is he living at his mom's house? Why did his mom lose her house to the mortgage reclamation? His house literally got foreclosed on while his mom was in the hospital. Like, these guys are all full of shit. Fucking Gator, oh, I don't need any money. Why was Ralph giving him money? Why did Gator tell Andy that he had to borrow money from his parents so that he could go to Knoxville? These guys are all fake as shit, and they all talk shit about each other behind their back. When Andy and Ralph were living together, the day that Andy left Ralph's house, Andy called me at 5 o'clock in the morning crying, telling me that Ralph snapped because him and Nora were having a cigarette. And Nora was talking about how she wished that Ralph would stop drinking and how she cares about him, but he's just so destructive. And even though she loves him, she can't really be around that kind of person. And she's upset with the person he's become. But she cares about him, and it's upsetting to her. And Andy's like, yeah, I keep trying to get him to stop drinking. He doesn't stop. And Nora seemed upset. Ralph comes downstairs completely fucking pissed drunk, and he's like, you can get the fuck upstairs, or you can get on a fucking plane tonight. I don't give a fuck. And then he grabbed Andy by the throat and was like, you go near my wife again, I'll fucking kill you.
I think when they think their content is good, it seems to be bad. And when it goes poorly, yeah. Well, how about like, what do you guys think about if he stopped drinking and him and Andy started working out? How's that for a stream idea?
They were supposed to do that a year ago. Did you forget about that? When Andy and him lived together, Ralph was going to work out with Andy, and Andy was going to teach him how to lift weights and teach him how to eat properly. That never happened. And when Andy left that house that night, he packed up all his shit, and then he called Failure, and then he called to come pick him up at the train station. And then he was like, "Oh wait, I can't get any trains. I guess I'll take a bus." And then he called me from the bus and was like, dude, he's a psychopath. You were right about him. I can't live with Ralph. He's completely drunk. He's completely self-destructive. And then Andy literally went on stream not even a week later and confirmed that really happened. He confirmed that the fight with Nora happened, that Ralph threatened him, and that was why he was moving out. And Failure has confirmed it too. And you know why I say that? Because this guy that hangs out regularly with Ralph tries to go around and spread dissension and claim that it never happened. And his name is Gator. And it's not like Gator would know, because Gator was so embarrassed by the way that he acted in Knoxville and how everyone made fun of him that he didn't even come to Miami. And to be honest, no one wanted him to come to Miami because he was completely embarrassing. Ralph didn't want Gator to come to Miami. Andy didn't want Gator to come to Miami. And none of Andy's fucking people that were filming wanted Gator to come to Miami, because apparently Gator is like really weird in real life and no one wanted to hang out with him. But Gator lives under this delusion that everyone's jealous of him. He's literally embarrassing to be around.
Yeah, that's painful. I don't know.
It's all of them. I don't know why people watch them. They're so boring. Like Andy is literally a fucking OnlyFans reviewer now. He reviews disgusting e-whores that have no self-worth or value. And he's sitting there like reviewing these boring holes and talking about them and sending simps their way. That is just fucking sad. How do you go from like the twisted case of JF Garepi where he literally just stole most of my fucking content and then threw his name over it? How do you go from that and doing debates with Sargon and Richard Spencer to well, this ugly girl in South Carolina who lost her job because she was a waitress at Hooters is now taking pictures of her titties and sticking a unicorn dildo up her ass for $5.95 a month. Let me review this. The state of that man and what he has fallen from to what he is now. Same thing for Ralph. How do you go from like thousands and thousands to tens of thousands sometimes of viewers to nothing? Andy doesn't even get 50 people watching him, and he used to talk about views and make fun of Tonka. He gets less views than Tonka now.
Yeah, I feel a little disappointed. I thought when he came back that maybe he had cleaned his act up and he was just going to make an appearance. He seemed to have gotten some level of a head, but then he just went back to his old antics. Much less viewers.
Well, the last time I talked to him, he told me he was getting his shit together, that he was working a real job, that he was happy to be free of this stupid streaming shit. And then I guess he had to move back in with his parents, and now he's already back to grifting and he's back to kissing Ralph's ass. And I that's one thing I got to give it to you, man. You're probably one of the only people that have ever just been like, you know what, fuck you, Ralph, and just left and cut ties. I mean, that's the best way to do things, because that guy was just going to use you to stay relevant on YouTube, and then the minute that you slighted him, you see exactly the kind of person he is.
Yeah, I tried to help everybody. You can't make everybody happy.
Yeah, it's just I just you can't be friends with that guy. He's just one of those guys that like you can't be nice to him. You can't trust him, and like everyone's like,
No.
oh, you don't trust Zoom. He's a piece of shit. It's like, no, I'm not. I tell you about these guys. I warn you about these guys. No one fucking listens, and then they get drunk or they get high on pills, and they're like, oh, fuck my fans, fuck all you guys. You gave me your money already. I don't give a fuck. That's how they really are. I've seen how they really are outside of stream.
I really like that that none of these people, me, you, are. It's just, if anything, like the Dick Show live show is just a friend simulator. Like, you can't take it seriously. None of these people are your friends. Even people you've known for years in chat rooms, you probably shouldn't talk too much about yourself. And you just can't trust anybody. I know what you want to. Oh, yeah. You want to fall into it because it's easy, because you're a person, but it's ultimately, it usually damages you.
It's just like Jim said, there's no such thing as internet friends. It's the gayest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a bunch of like Dick is not some fucking Chad. Like, he's, oh, I banged two girls at the same time. Yeah, he kind of left out the fact that Jamie Lynn, who he says is all over his dick, he went out of his way to try and get this article DMCA'd that she wrote about him, where she talks about how he does drugs all the time, how the only time he ever introduced her as his girlfriend was to the drug dealer, how he forced Marie and her to have a throuple, even though neither of them wanted that. They both just wanted to date Dick, singularly. And he kind of like forced them into that relationship. And then Marie already had a bunch of like emotional and mental issues that Dick was exploiting, to the point where she was literally taking pills all the time just to get out of bed.
No, I know I'm being a buzzkill, but you wouldn't actually seriously say forced, though, right? I mean, like, I would agree, manipulated.
The way that they explain it, it was demanded. And when Marie refused to have that relationship, Dick literally kicked her out of the house and told her to get the fuck out. And then apparently he cried all night while he was like, pretty much, according to her, he violated her in every room of the house while hysterically crying about having to kick Marie out. And then he did the same thing to Jamie. He turned on her, kicked her out too, tried to ruin her relationship with her husband, even though the husband was okay with her hooking up with him. I mean, he just goes out of his way to like lie about shit. I mean, the whole thing was, I heard when he was talking to PPP, he's like, oh yeah, I played football in high school. I found all 4 years that he was in high school, in Valencia High School in California, he was almost non-existent the first 3 years. You see him in the junior year, he's kind of like way in the back. the more popular guys are the ones taking the torch, doing the speeches. Dick is not really popular or up in front. He's kind of like, a sheep in the back. He's not this big alpha like he claimed. And then he kind of peaked his senior year. He won Homecoming King, but he wasn't as popular as he claims he was. There was actually another guy in his class that was so popular, he had his own fan club that was written about in the yearbook. And Dick was in that fan club and was hanging out with the guy. And that guy won prom king. That guy played football. That guy is who Dick represents himself to be. In reality, Dick is not the person he claims to be.
Has he talked about that guy in his show?
No, I've never seen him talk about it. And from what Sean said, Dick was so insecure, he had to get surgery on his face, and his voice doesn't even sound the same anymore. So it's like, who's the alpha Chad here that you're like so insecure you got to get plastic surgery on your face just to look like a normal person? Come on.
Yeah. Well, would you say is Dick a smart guy?
I would say he's good at telling stories, and he's good at convincing a bunch of spineless simps to donate money to him in the vain hopes that they'll somehow be able to glean how to be a completely irrational adult who doesn't know how to have any kind of long-lasting relationships or any real personal relationships with any female alive, because they realize that he's completely full of shit, and then he kicks them out of the house. So I'd say he's really good at grifting completely pathetic, sad individuals that he can make money off of, and that's about it. And apparently there's a lot of them that donate money to him. Other than that, there's nothing he talks about. And I talked with him about this privately, and he got really pissed off. There's nothing that Dick says that is like of any value or substance. It's just, oh, I banged 2 girls at the same time. I was homecoming king. I'm popular. I fucked models. After we got off the stream, I asked him, I said, Dick, where is she? You said that like 80s girl was there. Where is she? She wasn't even there. He told PPP she was there. She wasn't. And then I asked him, he got mad and immediately went back to the other fucking call with Nick Rikita. Because we didn't talk for a good 15-20 minutes after Nick kicked us off. He was talking to me in a thing, and then he was like, dude, I can't deal with this shit. I got to go. And he left. Because I asked him, I was like, where is she? I mean, like, you're claiming all the shit. You're claiming you live in a fucking huge mansion, and you're a multimillionaire. It's all bullshit. You live in a normal house in like a suburb on a hill, and it's not even a good area. It's like south of Eagle Rock. I've been to LA. He's completely full of shit. He doesn't live in the Hollywood Hills. The guy just makes everything up, and everything about him is a lie. Jamie's in love with me. Jamie talks shit about him all the time. She wrote a whole fucking blog just completely blasting him, showing text messages, showing all the messages between her and him on Facebook, like 49 pages worth of just him bitching about how he can't manipulate the two of them into being in a relationship with him at the same time. I mean, the guy is he's a fraud at best. Yeah. So yeah, he's good at tricking people out of money. That's what I would give him. He's smart about that.
Yeah, he'll say too that it's his character that's saying all this, right?
Yeah, it's a character when he wants to make money. It's a character when he doesn't want to look stupid. Like when he gets caught being completely full of shit, then it's a character. But when he's on the streams, when he's bragging about shit in real life, it's not a character. That's who he is. He's the alpha Chad, and that's why I think he's fake too. They're all fake. They all pretend to be some fucking great big Joe Big Dick. I mean, Ralph's a complete fucking pussy in her life. Andy's a pussy in her life. They're all pussies. I mean, you remember how, Andy, I'm going to knock you the fuck out, Tonka. I train in MMA. Okay, then why when those 3 guys pressed up to you, were you freaking out and screaming like a girl and telling Alex to pull a gun out?
Pull a gun out, yeah.
Yeah,
if you'd been him to not include the gun.
If you'd been training for months in MMA and you knew how to handle yourself, why couldn't you handle yourself against those guys? Why did you and Alex pull out a fucking taser and try to tase the guy before he even left the club? Like, I don't blame the guy for going and getting 2 of his friends to fucking go fuck with them, because they pulled a fucking taser out on him and tried to tase him. Yeah. When it was just when it was 3-on-1, they pull a taser out. They have a gun. I mean, come on, they're pussies. And then when those guys step to them, they wouldn't even pull the trigger. They're complete bitches.
Didn't that other guy? Didn't he try to stun gun or tase one of them as he's just walking by?
Yeah, and he completely fucking missed.
Yeah.
And I don't blame those three guys for fucking punching them. Now, Failure, I didn't see Failure do much other than kind of like back off and say, leave me alone. But Andy and Alex and those, they were the ones running their mouths and being the antagonists in that, and they deserved it. They should have got their fucking asses stomped out
Yeah.
because they were acting like that in real life, and they were fucking being ignorant. They were playing fucking racist shit, and like, yeah, I understand they have no control over what's being played, but the guy politely asked them multiple times to stop, and Andy started threatening the guy. Oh, nice pecs, they look good with the bullet in them. The fuck.
Terrible judgment. Instant escalation. Here,
They,
I
they,
wanted to ask you. No, keep
yeah,
going,
sure.
please.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Just a side question. What's your favorite lift?
Uh, Probably the conventional deadlift.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, I've been. I started off. Um, I started off earlier in the year. I was like 150. Then I moved up to 250. And then as I started like bulking, after losing a lot of water weight, the highest I've ever gotten is 535 on a 1 rep max. And then they decided to close all the gyms. But it was
Yeah.
like insane. Like I didn't realize like how strong I had gotten because like once I stopped eating crap and started eating healthy and watching my basal metabolic rate and stuff like that, drinking a lot of water. I lost a lot of weight rapidly, and I put on a lot of muscle over the past like 12 months. And then like I decided to like test my strength and go to one of those like a weightlifting competition, and they had
Nice.
a small qualifier a few months ago, and I was able to pull over 900 pounds with just my raw arm
Jesus
strength,
fucking Christ, man.
90 feet with a battle rope hooked to a weight sled, and
Oh,
then
okay. Yeah.
the
Man.
actual like pushing the weight sled, I pushed over 1,300 pounds, 90 feet in 30 seconds. But I was like 2 seconds late because my legs kind of got gassed towards the end. But I did do the full 1250 push 90 feet in 30 seconds. So that counted. And I wound up coming in second place, but it was like my first competition. So I
Those
enjoyed it.
good. Congrats, buddy. Those all sound like pretty big numbers. I'm not up to par with what's impressive, but that sounds pretty impressive.
It's literally like 1.5% of my body weight. So to like most lifters, that's not a lot.
Yeah.
Like a 535, that's like intermediate to advanced. Like to get to like the like advanced stage, you have to lift like over, I think it's like 650 pounds. Because that'll be a significant amount. I think that's like 2.5 times my weight. And
Yeah.
that's going to be really good.
Well, shit. I wanted to ask you another question, but I forgot it. God damn. Let me think about that for a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have anything else to say on Andy?
I just wish that dude would get his shit together. I mean, like, how can he just like settle for this? How can you get up in the morning and you're like, I'm an OnlyFans reviewer, like,
Yeah, that's
and to have known that was what he was 2 years ago. He's talking to Sargon, talking to Richard Spencer, talking to some of the most popular people in the alt right, talking to all these really popular YouTubers, and look.
what I wanted to ask. Speaking of that, of them getting their shit together, do you think? Do you feel like you think clear now that you're eating right and kind of working out? Does your thought processes change a
Uh,
little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like this kind of shit is like so boring. That's why I like only do it on the weekends or like when people ask me to, because I know there's a lot of people that like would like it if I would stream regularly every day. There's a lot of people that hate me, and then there's a lot of people that like what I do. Um, and to me, it's like I said it earlier on my stream. There's like a distance. There's like a difference between like fate and like destiny, and like when it comes to fate, it's what you settle for when life deals you cards and you don't feel like passing on them or folding for a little while, or asking to be redealt, or just playing the hand and seeing where things go, um, as opposed to like destiny, which is what you make of it. And taking control of your life and changing things. And it seems like a lot of these guys like Ralph and Andy and stuff like that, they never really focused on school. They don't seem very book smart or intelligent. They've never really gone to college. I mean, Ralph went to college for a fucking political science degree and didn't even finish. So you look at these guys, they have a track record for not being able to follow through, for not finishing what they claim they're going to do, for not really achieving the most that they could have out of life. I mean, like, even though it's a political science degree, it's still a degree. Ralph could have changed his major halfway through. He could have gone for a different track in life, and he could have ended up in a better place. Same thing for Andy. I mean,
so
these people have just settled.
You make your own luck.
Yeah, they've literally settled for this, and the reason why they do this, it's not because they're talented or because they're they care about their fans or because they have some kind of message that they want to get out there. They're doing this because they have no other way to survive, and they have no other way to make money because they have no real skills or talents or anything that makes them marketable. So they have to use this, and they have to grift people and lie and present themselves as something they're not, because if they don't, then they have no way to pay for anything. So they're literally to the point that they're actually whores. For any point in time, if you look at them, they're literally just people that get money thrown at them to dance like monkeys and pretend to be someone they're not so that they can entertain an audience. They're the equivalent of a cam whore. And that's all Andy and Ralph are. They're whores. They will do anything for money. They will compromise their values. They will compromise their integrity. They will compromise their actual views as long as you give them money. And they don't care about you as a person. They don't give a shit about you. You're not their friend. You were some guy that was restreaming for him. And then the minute that you didn't want to do that anymore, all of a sudden he turned on you. And that's who they really are. They don't care about anyone. They want to get as much money as possible, and they will all work together to trick as many people out of money as possible. And that is exactly why e-celebs are gay.
What would you say to people that ask you why you care about their well-being?
I don't. I could give a shit less about their well-being. I just think it's fucking pathetic that these people present themselves as these alpha males and pillars of the community, and they're giving people advice and talking down to people about what they should do for their life. It's like, what the fuck have you done? What experience do you have with the world? Has Ralph ever even been out of the country? The closest Andy's been out of the country was going to America. Has Gator ever been out of the country? Have they actually seen the world? Have they traveled? Are they educated? Why are they giving these people fucking advice on life when they haven't even lived life themselves? They don't even know how to get their shit together. Everyone keeps bringing fucking Josh on the stream. Josh is literally a guy who never went to college, never got an education, spent most of his youth harassing young girls on forums, harassing transgender people, doxing people, and then the minute people started doing it to him, he immediately became a huge giant pussy. He shut Kiwi Farms down, and then he moved out of the country. And then the minute he moved out of the country and people couldn't fuck with him anymore, then all of a sudden he was a free speech advocate, and he's this big, well-versed, well-educated person. And in reality, he doesn't even have an education. He's not really smart. He's not intelligent. He has zero talent. He can't really do anything with his life at all. I mean, for as big and as bad as Josh talked about how he's been for the past, 6 months on all these different streams, for somebody the other day to link a fucking bunch of screenshots of him where he's begging people in his Discord to give him job security and to help him find a job, or he's going to shut the farms down and he's not going to be able to afford anything. It's just it just makes it more apparent my point. These people are completely full of shit, and they're just trying to grift people out of money and pretend to get money. And honestly, I don't think that's fair to the audience. I think that people that want to have that want to develop a fan base, that want to, honestly present, an actual show that they care about, those people deserve a chance because, hey, they might say something entertaining, they might be talented, they might be funny, and people will enjoy them. But when you get somebody like Ralph or Andy, they're just like the laziest people. They don't even plan their shows out. Like, I wrote my entire show over the course of like 3 days with all the pictures and stuff. I worked together with Pep and Mr. P and Wilby and Roman, and we put the whole show together. And then I went ahead and I was like, it'd be funnier if we extend it till 10 o'clock so it's in Ralph's time period, in his time slot, and then we'll finish everything up and we'll get some music and stuff together, and we'll plan the whole show out. And like Ralph, he shows up for a show usually 10 minutes late. He has no idea what's going to be talked about on the show. Gator gives him like a half fucking summary rundown of what's going to be talked about, and then they literally take an hour and 45, some is almost 2-3 hours to get to like bullet point one, where they just talk about nothing. And then Ralph reads an article. He's drinking the whole time he's doing it, and then 3-4 hours into the show, nothing's really been talked about, and that's literally every single episode. Andy's the same way. Andy literally never plans his streams. They're just completely off the top of his head. And Andy is a guy that, even though he's a nice guy deep down, he is terrible at improv, and he's terrible at comedy, and it's just not funny. And then he like brings in Geek or other people to back him up, and they're not funny either. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, and they all laugh at, and it just seems like a show that's poorly put together, like you said.
It's fake. It's fake. Did you see that show yesterday where they were all on there? It was a Dick and Nick and all these guys. They're all on there with Andy and Gator, and it is just so like cringy and sad how they're just like in this big coat pile, and they're just all laughing at like jokes that aren't funny. They're all everything that somebody says is like a fucking laugh right. It's like the funniest fucking joke they ever heard in their life. You know that none of them are really laughing. They're just fake laughing for the audience. None of them are really friends. They're all in it for the money. And it's so fake. And now the audience is starting to see just how full of shit all of them are, and they're fucking calling them out on it. And that's what I love about it. I loved that show tonight, where after I got off stream, I went, I listened, and like the last 5-6 callers in a row called in and were like, hey, how come you didn't do this? How come you didn't? That should happen every fucking day until they start doing it. They need to be held accountable for the shit that they pull and the shit that they say.
Yeah. I hope someone makes a little clip of that, because I'd like to hear that part. Okay, so would you have any advice, if you would care to give it, for any of these of the cleanup crew?
Yeah, don't clean up. Get your shit together and get a job. All these fucking retards and copers in the chats that fucking say, "Oh, well, you're just mad at them about making money." Okay, well, Ralph barely makes what, $500-$600 a week. I make that in like 3 days at my job. Dick's like, "Oh, I make 22 grand off of fucking people like that." Okay, congrats. That's really impressive. I make at least 5 grand more than you, off of just regular contracts and commission off of my job. Do you see me doing that every fucking day? No. I mean, they talk about how much money they earn collectively and shit like that. I've closed close to $3.8 million in residual contracts in the past 14 months at my company. And these fucking retards, they struggle to put together 40 grand. They don't make any kind of serious money. That's why they all live in like low income areas. They don't really do much with themselves. They can't afford to get out of the hole that they put themselves in. I mean, look at Ralph. Even if his mom dies, he's not going to be able to stay in that house. He can't afford the mortgage. The house literally got foreclosed on in 2016. You think he's going to be able to pay to live the way? No, he's going to fucking move into some cheap hovel in the city, or he's going to beg to move in with Gator or someone else. Like, these people aren't able to survive in the real world. They're holding on by a thread.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very, very interesting, man. I think I'm out of questions for now for you. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I think it'd be good if you just did this and brought some people in, talked about shit. That's what makes the show entertaining. Plan it. Show that you're actually like trying to get out there and have people watch you and stuff like that. And you'll grow very easily over a few months. It doesn't take that long to build up a following. It's like what these guys are doing isn't fucking rocket science. It's very easy, and it's very easy to get more views than them. So you could easily get more views than Ralph. You don't need to restream Ralph reviews. You could make your own content and be better than him. It's not that fucking hard.
Zoom, that's good advice. I got to tell you, I don't know if I want that.
Well, it's not a good path in life because, well, one, being an Eastlove is fucking gay, and two, why do you want to waste all your free time putting together shows every fucking week for a small amount of money and tips and donations? I mean, you can't live off that shit. If you're lucky, you may live off of it, but in reality, unless you're an e-girl with big tits and no brains, you're not really going to make much money online, especially as a guy. It's better off to go to college, get a real job, start a family, so that you don't end up like these fucking losers.
I completely agree, man. I think it's been fun delivering this. It's a funny joke, but I don't know. It seems like a bad future. It seems like a bad future and a bad idea to try to get big and try to more views. Who the fuck wants that? I mean,
yeah. What is the point of it?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because speaking of more views, you got a lot of views tonight. I enjoyed your show. Would you categorize it as what blogs or news or comedy?
I categorize it as comedy because I literally just go on and make fun of people. I don't really see it as like informative. I see it as me just like telling people the truth. And a lot of people, they've watched these other people so long that they just believe every fucking lie they tell. And somebody needs to tell the truth. And I don't really give a shit if YouTube bans me or if they shut my channel off or they give me a strike. I'll just re-upload the stream on BitChute, and who really cares?
Yeah. Do you think is there a group of people, a small group of people that enjoy the Gunt and you?
Uh, from what I've seen, a large majority of people that watch me used to watch Ralph, and they liked when I was on Ralph, and they like that I'm doing that to Ralph. And I think if you actually look at like Ralph's numbers and then compare it to like positive things that are said in the chat, because he censors his chat a lot, he censors his Discord. If you look at his Discord and you look at his chats, he only really has like maybe 150 to 200 like diehard fans, and then like the rest of them are like people from Cal, people from Kiwi Farms, or people that hate watch him. So you figure that like other 400 plus people watching him are really just people that want to watch him fucking just kill himself basically with liquor. So
Yeah.
his whole fucking "oh, I'm the greatest" thing it's all in his head. I mean, even Dispatch made an ass of him when he was botting him up to 3K, and Ralph was bragging about the numbers, and he was getting botted the whole time. And then the minute Dispatch turned the bots off, Ralph dropped all the way down to like 400 active viewers. And I think that you could hear the silence and like the realization in his head that like he wasn't as big as he thought he was the whole time. And that was just so funny to me because it's like he's built himself up in his own head as like this great, amazing, Jay Caesar fucking 187, and in reality, he's a fucking loser.
Yeah. Well, I got one more for you. I got to ask you a silly question. What do you think Andy's dad's like?
I think he's a man that has had a lot of patience, and I think dealing with a son that has severe disabilities like Andy was probably really trying for him. And I think he's kind of gone out of his way to help Andy. And from what Andy told all of us, when his dad let him, basically was like more than happy to let him leave to go live in with Ralph, he said, "Don't come back home." And then Andy's back home. So I think he obviously felt sorry for him and was like, "Oh, I get, at least he tried. Maybe he'll get his shit together." And I think maybe his dad's probably hoping he'll get his shit together and do something with his life. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure he's disappointed because I mean he's fucking giving jerk off reviews to e-whores right now. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Shame to the family, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure his dad's not very happy.
Yeah. Well, Zoom, thanks for coming on and asking questions, shooting the shit. You have anything else?
Nah, man. I wish you the best with your show, and I hope I hope you do well on here, but not too well that you become a faggy slut.
Thank you. That's the best thing you could ever say. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Take it easy. Enjoy your show.
Thank you. Take care.